Being in a relay team or being a relay captain takes a lot of thought and preparation. To a new team just coming in, it can be very overwhelming. So we wanted to sit with some of our Relay for Life captains to get some of their input on how they guided their teams and how not to get so overwhelmed with so much information that will be floating around. We'd like to introduce our captains. Liz Wilner from Aether Chrononauts, Fancita Miami from Secret Pleasures, Ellie Cantoris from River of Life, Kentar Vendetta from Team OD, Mightbe Shelter from MC and Community Team, Abby Lemongrass from One More Light, Nanny Punani Jefferson, and Gaia Rain from Ohana Without Exception. Can you tell us why you relay?
Well, I relay for my 4-year-old niece who has leukemia and has not found a uh, bone marrow transplant donor yet. I relay for my aunt that has finally become cancer free from breast cancer. And I have quite a few family members and an extended amount of friends that have either have cancer or have gone through cancer or have family members with cancer. It's basically, I think that no matter who you are, cancer has touched you in one way or another, and we have to do our best to get rid of this and work together to do it.
I relay for my father, who had leukemia, and for my mother, who, amongst other issues, she had a breast cancer and she died 2 years ago. And there are several people I've known all through my life that have been afflicted with this or had a family member afflicted with it, and it just needs to end. So that's why I relay.
I relay because I lost probably the 5 most important people to me since I've been a child to cancer, and I keep finding out more important people who are currently battling cancer. And in real life, I relay for those people. And I find in Second Life, there's other people who continue to learn about relay, who I want to keep helping them with their journeys as well and fight the battle. So that's why I relay, so that people can continue to have hope and a chance.
I relay because I'm a survivor and because too many of the people that I love didn't survive. And so I just relay that we have, for hope that one day we won't lose people for that reason anymore.
I relay for my husband's best friend. She had throat cancer and had gone into remission, but the complications that she suffered from the treatment is what eventually she ended up succumbing to. And I relay for my husband who lost his best friend. So having to go through that experience with her and with him is what originally made cancer real for me. And I think it's important to know that to kind of teach folks that it's not always the cancer that gets you, but sometimes the treatment also can be the issue. So researching and finding better ways to treat it so that we can eradicate it so no one suffers from it again is important to me.
I agree with that. I lost my father to cancer. My sister, who was my first best friend, didn't die of cancer because I gave her a bone marrow transplant March 2nd, 2001. But 15 years later, she died of the consequences of that battle. And certainly I've lost very dear friends and family members to cancer. So, yeah, it's time to make this go away.
All right, so each one of you have taken the responsibility and decided to create a team because you each have a reason that why you relay. So after you created your team, what was the first thing you did after you registered your team?
Bob created our team, and I think that after I joined the team, the first thing we did was just start looking for other people to join us on that team, to have that same common common goal, and with the hopes of raising some money. And so that was the next thing we did was reach out to other people and started looking for people to join us in our fight.
Yeah, I think we did the same thing. Gaia and I got together, and I just some of my friends may or may not have had an option in joining my team because I sent them an IM, a very nicely worded IM that said, "Hey, I made this team, for Relay for Life, and you're going to be on it." And they didn't fight me, so that was good. And like how Abby said, it just started going around talking to people, letting them know that, hey, Relay for Life is a thing in SL, and a lot of my friends actually were not aware of it. So I started telling whoever I could about it, to get them involved, and yeah, that's what we started. The more people we got to join our team, the better for us.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry. You and I keep butting heads. I'm so
We
sorry.
do. You can go first.
Okay, so I think one of the things that we did this year was we started planning way early. Once we knew we were going to do our team again, we started talking about what we were going to do and how we were going to do it in December, maybe even before that. And it was just little conversations here and there. It wasn't a big planning session or anything. But yeah, adding folks and knowing who we were going to have join the team, who we knew would actually contribute. Um, and it's good to have a lot of people on the team, but it's a lot of work. So having the right people on the team to help um, is important to me.
Right.
So I ask all my friends to join, but there's some people that I insist. They're not asked. They're like, okay, this is what you're going to do for our team this year, and they're like, oh, okay, because sometimes folks just need a direction. Some they want to participate, but they're not always quick to know exactly how they can. So coming up with, all right, this is what I need you to do for the team, and this is what we need you to do on top of raising money. That is that was important for the folks that I brought to the team.
As far as Team OD, we've been in the game a while. Actually, we started out in 2009 as Rockers and Hogs under Thomas DeVisidero and Zach Starr. And then because of OD Design's place in the industry, we became Team OD in 2010 under Thomas's leadership, and then which is when I held my first Shredfest event. And then in 2011 is when I took over as captainship. So fortunately, we have a long history, and so we have plenty of people who are, let's put it this way, to book this year's Shredfest event. People started asking me last August, when are you going to start doing it? So I literally had to pick a date and start planning it because people were demanding that I do such. It's kind of funny, actually.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and Team X is very much like Team OD. We've been around for a very long time, and so we've had other captains, which I've gleaned a lot of wisdom from, and they've taught me a lot. And when this last season, this season's before we started, we do a general team meeting of for planning and for improving established events and encouraging new members. Bring your friends, bring your family, and be creative, because we're open to making this a really fun thing to do while keeping the focus on this is going to help cure cancer. That's what we want.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things are like spreading awareness. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the people that I spoke to about Relay for Life in Second Life was not aware that it was a thing. And there's so many people out there that would be willing to help if they just knew that it was an option here. That I didn't even know it was until I went to the first event I went to was one of Gaia's jail and bail events, and I didn't even know it was a fundraising event until I got there. And I said, "Oh, it's a Relay for Life thing," you know. So I think that was one of the most important things we did right at the very beginning, is started to plant these little earworms in people's brains that, hey, you know, this is coming up, this is a thing, this exists in SL, and you'd be surprised at how many people are willing to help and participate.
I'm still surprised at the number of people who don't know
Right.
what relay is
Yeah.
in SL. I am shocked. I'm like, wait, you, but even before I was involved in relay on SL, I had been hearing about it for years. So for me to find people who still don't know anything, and their Avies are 14 and 15 years old, and I'm like, wait,
Right.
oh, well, come with me. Let me show you. Come follow me. I got cookies. Let's go.
I love cookies.
my
So that's
my
your
first
secret
Relay for Life
Yeah.
was a live event, because I went. I don't know how I got over to Relay for Life, and I actually talked to Jim and Selene. They were having this meeting, and I said, "Oh, this is great." So I did a live show, and I got a lot of support from that. But I didn't do anything else because I didn't know that you could do anything else. I thought you could just do one event. But the next year, when I decided to do it, it was great. And I really had fun doing it. It was a lot of work. Now you got a lot of work to do with this, but I really enjoyed myself, and I really enjoyed the fact that we raised money for cancer. I really enjoyed that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think when the first thing that I learned was that you really do need to let everybody know that you are a team, and let them know ahead of time, hey, registration is on whatever day it is, and, just start those little things ahead of time. And then, the first thing I did after I registered was let everybody know, hey, I did it, we're a team, you can register. And I let everybody know that I possibly could at the time, and tried to get, as many people into our team as I could, but also let people know that, if they didn't have room to join the team, they could join our Discord. Or some people are, a little hesitant, to definitely join into something, but they want to help out, and let them know that, hey, you can be a part of the event, or you can, help out with the event. And that's okay too, if you don't want to 100% commit to, being 100% on it, because you're still doing something productive and helping the River of Life team. And we have a lot of people who do that. They're on the team, but they're not, I'm 100% on the team. And, here for us, it's the same thing, because they're doing the same thing.
Hey, is there anybody else? You guys are answering a lot of a lot of questions all at the same time. Yeah, you are. How do you get things off the ground when you begin your relay season?
Google documents. Lots and lots of Google documents. We have a team Google Doc. We plot everything out methodically. If you have an idea, it gets its own page. Oh, was that an idea I heard? Sure was. Here's your page for that. Let's see what all you need for that. Just lots and lots of planning, and just making sure whoever takes the lead on that particular project has everybody available to use as they need them, because our team has, we have people who do graphics, we have people that are great at building, we have people that are great at hosting or DJing or whatever. And so whatever they're planning, we pull from our pool of people, and if we don't have that, that's when we start looking for people outside the team to fill those spaces. So just lots of planning.
Nani sends me about 672 messages telling me we need to plan. And she's like, okay, when are we going to get together to plan it? 672. That's my favorite exaggeration number. She sends me 672 messages, says, okay, are we meeting today? When can we meet? Can we meet? Let's meet. Let's meet and talk about this. Can we meet and talk about this? And then finally I'm like, oh my God, Nani, okay, let's meet right now. Let me pull everybody I know. Look, you guys, we got to come in this meeting now. So, because I like hearing from Nani, but I hate when she has to nag me. So let's do this now.
I might be a little persistent, just a little.
She's a little, yeah. So the only thing little about you is you.
But yeah, we meet, we talk, we not brainwash. That's not the right brainstorm.
Yep.
Same brainwash, brainstorm, whatever.
Same.
We throw ideas out. I also do use Google Docs, and I have an Excel sheet that's a calendar, and we look through the dates and we say, okay, this is a holiday. Maybe we can do something that's related to the holiday, or this is a good weekend, or that's literally our first meeting. It's just a whole bunch of throwing out ideas, planning for all the way out till June. Thinking about, okay, what is the theme? How is our campsite gonna look? It's just a lot of touching on everything we possibly can within that first meeting, just to get us started. Because then I don't know about you guys, but it gets me excited because I'm like, okay, we're gonna do all of these events, and I personally like planning events like that. So it gets me excited, and I hope that when people hear me get excited about some things, that they in turn get excited as well. It's just starting. That's I think the first thing we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and we get really pumped up at that first meeting, and we're all excited, and we always plan entirely too much and then have to pull other people in to help us, because it starts out with the four of us talking about what we want to do, and then we start pulling people in and say, hey, we're going to do this and we need you to do this for that, or we ask other people to give ideas about what we should do to raise money, or how we can raise money, and not just events, but where we can put extra kiosks, and do I have enough kiosks at the amusement park, or should I put more, or things like that. So yeah, it's a lot of planning that first meeting.
I like what some of the stuff you've mentioned, because with Team OD, since we've been in this for some time, we've done different events that we haven't done for years. That it's like, as we're heading through the fall and getting ready to fire up the new season, it's like, well, what do we want to try and bring back and emphasize, and one of the things that people mentioned that's actually really important is establishing that that team theme, which complements the Relay for Life theme. Because that gives you kind of a rallying point and a design point for that season. And that's one of the things that over the years that we've had a lot of fun with. And what we decided to do this year, unlike some other years, we said, let's start the year with our big wow event, which is Shredfest, which we've already done and hit and blew up into platinum level, which I have to give props to so many people that helped make that happen. It was epic, both within the team and the general community who are sitting in remotes and everything else. But after that, right, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, well, how to keep the momentum going, and that's where a lot of people, you give them empowerment to go, oh, you've got some ideas and you want to do this? Well, you run with it and we'll support you. So we are not so formally planned. Just because we've done this so long, we can kind of improv it, but planning is extremely important, especially for the people that are new to the game.
Well, we kind of decided to go a little bit backwards this year. When we started planning, we planned our great big end event first, and it's pretty much ready to go. And then we decided to divide everything up into smaller events. So we're having an end rally, which is just really wild with everybody. We've invited MCs to come and create their own biker bars, and each of these biker bars is going to have, different things going on, and also different events during that time. But then leading up to it, we have another rally that's going to be a track build. And in between, we've asked each of the MCs that is in our sponsors group to run one small event. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as we can have, the kiosk there. They can put our kiosk out. And so they've had a few smaller events that have been really fun. They've raced hospital gurneys, and they have done dances. And oh my goodness, Sin City has done some amazing things. We're having the first ever biker shop and hop on SL. So being the first at different things, I think, makes your events much more exciting and more fun to do for people. So hopefully it brings more people in, and more people help us bring more money to RFL.
Planning is key. You have to be willing to, and this is where, being captain isn't as glamorous as it sounds, but, one of the things that I started doing was making sure that ACTS had a general meeting, bring people in, and let's improve on the established events we have, which every year there's something new added to them that might be fun for a lot of people. Even bring more types of people in, that's fine. And also adding other events and getting sort of what we have is like some sub teams that take control of these events. They are the ones that build this or build that, or, really get this all worked out. And that's what makes acts work so well, because it's like this dynamic set of gears. Haha, because we're also the steam lands, so we got to have the gears in there. But it's what I think the new teams have to remember is that it's not so scary. Once you get yourself a team name and you register, just think of who you are as people and what you like to do for fun. And I guarantee you, in the SL community, there's a bunch of people that will agree with that. And you can build on that.
That was very well said, Liz. That's one of the things that I learned taking over the river this year as their team captain was I didn't have to do all the planning and all the enacting on the planning alone, that I had a great, awesome group that was willing and able to help me. And you have to remember to just ask them to help you, and they will. And that's the key when you're captain, is to remember you don't have to do it all on your own. You have people out there who want to help you, but sometimes if you don't ask them, they can't read your mind. And I think as captain, sometimes we forget that because we just get in that go, 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 go mode.
And I've also met some new, people new to relay and everything, and then they suddenly, in my case, it happened a couple times already this season, where I have my captain's tag on, and they think it's like, you need to curtsy or something. I'm like, no, you can just ask me. I'm just, just ask me your question. And
exactly.
Yeah, don't be afraid of the captain title. But I have a co-captain, and what we do is we have separated out the duties of, he Wildstar Beaumont handles registration. He handles all the online, the website stuff and getting people registered there. He also handles a couple different specific events that we currently, always do. But he also sometimes wears his captain thing and chuckles that somebody just backs away like, oh my goodness, are we allowed to speak? Yes, you may approach. Come on. And I think when we we as captains, we are leaders, but we're also gatherers and we're also givers. It's the best way I can put it. Because we gather people together to sort of be the most creative, fun things to raise money for a great cause, and we can never lose that focus. But we're also givers because we also, as captains, need to help other teams. I don't know how many new teams I've helped set up their first kiosk. Why?
Exactly.
Because I was there and they saw I had a captain's thing on and they figured I knew what I was doing. And that's what I do. I'll help you whatever you need. I don't care what team you're on. Come on, let's go. We're all doing this for the same purpose.
Exactly.
That's something that we try to get across in relay, is that we're one team. We may have our own team names, and we may each have our own kiosk, but we're all fighting the same battle. And we can do more when we all join together, right?
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
So you guys have answered a lot of questions before we even gotten to them, because y'all just taken the ball and run with it. Pretty much what y'all do with relay. So I'm going to ask another question. You've registered, you've gotten people on your team, and you're instilling in them the power to do some events. How do you get them to be involved with your events? I mean, how do you get them to be excited about doing an event?
I let them plan that event. Let them own it. Let it be their event. I'm here to help you. What can I do to make it better for you? We let them raise their own kiosk at the event. That way they can watch that money come in and see, how well they're doing for that event. I have found that whenever you let people have their own events, and be in charge of their own events and not be the boss all the time, or any of the time really, then it kind of it's our team and not your team. I'm part of our team, and that's what a lot of our members I've noticed have said. Our team this, our team that, and that's what I like to hear, is whenever they claim that team as their own, and they're not doing those events for one more light. They're doing those events for their team. And so, just like I said, letting them take it. It's yours. How can I help you with that?
Something I guess I could add, although I think she said that extremely well, is part of it is giving ownership, and there'll be certain other people on your team, like Canuck, who is he's done a lot of different stuff for Team OD on his own sim and so forth, and he's taken the lead and organized his own events, on his own. So sometimes it's best to kind of, one of the tricks, and my family has been involved in fundraising for a long time, and mostly against cancer. And one of the tricks is, it's like herding cats, right? Because here you are, you're a leader, and it's a light touch because you got all these other people and they want to help, and you can guide them, but you also have to kind of help let them find their own way, and then their ideas and their motivations will rise to the top. So and then they'll start to take the lead on the things. But sometimes, for the new teams out there, just keep in mind, sometimes those first years they're kind of rough, but it's like a good anything, right? Sometimes it takes a good wine some years to ferment. But if you stick with it, and then over the years, then you'll have a much richer flavor of people to interact with, and they'll have ideas, and then you'll start having all these different events that start to bubble up from their spontaneity.
Exactly.
Another thing is, letting them know that we don't always have to plan a huge extravagant event. Like a relay event, a fundraising event can literally be anything that you can think of. Right. So last year, I had one of the guys on my team, he just discovered fishing in SL. And he was like, let's have a fishing tournament. I'm like, let's do it. And somebody else was like, I love playing Funky Monkey. Let's have a Funky Monkey tournament. I'm like, let's do it. Let's, like literally anything can become an event. So when people know that because sometimes planning a huge event can be intimidating, right? So let them know that they can start with something small, something that you would do on a regular day in SL. And when you find that you can raise money, raise funds for relay, for cancer research while doing something that you enjoy, I think it tends to bring them in and want them to do more after that.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right with that. Uh, we had just a few people that were building tracks together this past year, and they decided, well, why don't we just build a sledding hill for people to slide down? So they made this huge 254 by 254 sledding hill and just invited everybody to come slide down it with RFL. Well, actually, at the time, Strides kiosks at each side, and now they have put the track itself that they built into a vendor. But the sliding is not really a regular event, but still it's something small that people can come to and just enjoy. And when they enjoy it, they drop a few linden into the donations. So, and every little bit helps. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. We've had fishing events and we've had just silly rides, but all of it counts.
Absolutely.
Right.
Every linden counts. Every linden counts. I mean, we have at my region, we have a weekly 80s hour, and we just asked the lady who hosts that, would you mind if during the season tips instead go into a kiosk? And she was like, absolutely sure. And damn if she hasn't raised 15,000 all by herself.
Yeah, I have
I have to be a
kiosks.
big thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't. I've raised more at my kiosks at my amusement park. Just I have several out, and I've raised more at those kiosks over the last few years just because they're there with no effort at all from me other than setting them out than some of the events that I have put on. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people just drop money in them. They just, as soon as they see it, as soon as they see Relay for Life, if they know what it is, if they don't know what it is, they hit up my online board and say, "Hey, what's RFL?" And I get a chance to explain what it is, and they're like, "Oh, great!" And then I see 100 lindens, 100 lindens. Everybody in that party dropped 100 lindens in it, And I've had events that I've done that barely made 100 lindens total. So, it's sometimes it's not even an activity. It's just the fact that you have put something in a visible place that people
Exactly.
have to walk by that makes the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes your event, like Gaia is saying, your event can not be, for lack of better term, successful in the way of getting donations or funds, raising funds, but it can be very successful in raising awareness that people know, oh, I might not, like I don't know about going to this event because it's kind of not my thing, but now that I know you have events, they might come to a later event that they're more interested in, but it's just there is no event that you don't gain something from. You always gain something from having any
Exactly.
type of event.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've found that our team has found that we can have an event like our Easter egg hunt, where it's not manned and people just can come and go as they want to. And not having somebody there has actually been successful because they can learn as they want. They can come and go as they want. And they actually have been searching to find out more about it. And, they have been finding more success that way too. So sometimes not having an actual event where there's people there and being asked for, donations all the time and everything has actually been successful too. So you don't always need to put, 100%, of people there, but just having the information there sometimes is helpful as well.
I find I make more money like if I have a live set at my club or I have any set at my club, I just have the kiosks out there and people will donate to the kiosk just because. Um, and I do find that to be a little, and like I like it. You know what I mean? I don't have to do anything but just res the kiosk.
And we have ours set out all year round. We don't do it just during Relay for Life season. The kiosk in my club, at the amusement park, and all my other venues, they're there all the time.
They
And
are.
People donate to it all year round because everybody knows somebody who either had cancer, survived cancer, lost someone to cancer. Everybody knows somebody
That's
that
true.
Yep.
cancer
That's
has
true.
affected,
That's true.
and they all want to do something about it. You just have to let them know what they can do.
I do want to make a cautionary note there because I think that is excellent. But like Team OD, if you look at our numbers over the years, you can hit a burnout point. Like we broke over 2,250,000 lindens in like 2012, and then our numbers started going down because we were pushing too hard. And so like for now where we're at is we'll do occasional off-season events, but we save that main community push during the event itself to get the most impact, because you do have to take a breath from these things.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something we learned last year. So last year, um, we had event after event after event after event. They were sometimes,
Overlapping each other.
yes, yes. So this year we're making a conscious effort to say, like, look, we might not need to have as many events. Um, uh, we'll just space them out so that we're, like you said, we're not gonna burn burn out not only ourselves, but a lot of these events, it's our friends that are coming you know repeatedly. It's the same friends that are coming, so they will also get burnt out. So it's kind of like anyone who has kids who's had to fundraise selling cookies for whatever activity they want to do at school, right? It's that same time of year where everybody wants to fundraise for their kids. And it's kind of the same thing where sometimes we have to be a little more strategic on when we have the events, just so that not only we don't burn out, but that we don't send out another fundraising invite to people and they're like, oh, there goes Nani and Gaia again with another
Right.
event. And
We don't want to burn out our donors.
And now
right.
I had an event every single week last year. Every
Mm-hmm.
single week. We planned something else. We had something else. I'm not on the same track this year
Yeah,
because that was a lot of work.
it
That
is.
was a lot of
It's a
work.
lot of work.
And you were
Yes, lots
stressed
and lots of
out.
work.
Well, and donor fatigue is real, and that I think is key. Trying to find groups of people that we haven't reached before. I love my friends. All of my friends know that I relay. Half of my friends are on my relay team. But reaching people like y'all were saying earlier, there are people here that have been here years that don't know about relay. I'm 14 years old in Second Life. I had no idea until 4 years ago about Relay for Life. And so reaching that group of people that don't know, there's a whole like like group of people out there somewhere. I think that we got statistics a couple of years ago, and I was flabbergasted that people didn't know. I figured I didn't know, but I stay in a hole most of the time. I mean, it made
Right.
sense for
Me
me
too.
not to
Right.
know, right?
Right.
But that donor fatigue is real. Whenever you say hitting up all your friends, my friends know they're going to get a mass friends message at least once a week. Have I had people say, hey, could you please stop doing that? I sure can. You're no longer on my friends list. Thanks. And you won't ever get another message, a mass message from me. And not to be mean, but I'm not going to pick through who I'm going to message and who I'm not. But your friends do get tired of it. And so it is important to reach out beyond your community and try to get other communities involved.
Yeah, and that's another thing is you need to learn to have like thick skin, because you will have people telling you like, oh, another event, and just like Abby said, it's, yep, I'm having another event. You can come if you want. But if your friends decide not to come, like, don't be discouraged, don't be upset. It's just,
and don't be mad at them.
Yeah, it's
Right,
just
don't
another
take it
day.
personal.
Right.
Right.
It'll happen. It will happen, and you just have to learn to brush it off your shoulder and be like, well, okay, I'm gonna still have my event. If you change your mind, you're most welcome to come if you want to. But if you're not gonna come, that's cool too.
And I'm still gonna mass message my friends. Hey, how y'all doing? That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Y'all want to come hang out with me and do this with me? I don't send mass teleports, but it is a matter of people do get tired of it. Not everybody has a heart for relay that we do, and that's okay because not everybody comes to Second Life for the same reasons.
You have to remember, guys, it's fun, FUN raising.
Right.
And
Yes.
that's what we have to, and that's what we have to get across to everybody. And I know that's what you guys do.
The funds follow the fun.
Yes.
Right.
And
That
brings back what I said before with the new teams. When you first establish your team, you think about who you are and what you have fun with, and guaranteed with all these people in SL, you'll get new people to come. They may not be in your friends list, but somebody might actually put into one of their groups a little group like chat notice and going, hey, I'm at this great event, and I have seen that happen.
Yep.
I'm having so much fun here.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they've got 5 people that they have on their friends list that come, and they're going, oh, this is kind of fun. And as long as you're not throwing it down their throats about this is only for fundraising, and it's actually more about the event and how people can interact at that event, that actually does help with generating interest in the events that you do put on.
And one of the things I would just interject briefly is that any passion you have, at least some people have it in Relay for Life. One of the ones over the years that surprised me, but it was really fun to check out, was the Railroaders. I had for a period of time. There was a team. And I checked out. They had a cool ride out at the walk and everything, but all the people that did rail lines in Second Life did Relay for Life for a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some fun things on that calendar.
They were fun.
Yeah.
I always check out the ACS the events calendar and see what's going on.
I do too. Yes.
Like the huge, enormous snail races, those are hilarious.
We do the snail races, and we love the snail races.
Yeah.
They're hilarious.
And I think it's also important to realize the other side of that is don't discount anyone as a donor. I have an event that I put on at a time at my club for a group of people who never donate to the club. They rarely donate to the DJ. They're just not tippers. That's just not what they do. And that event is the one that raises the most money for
oh my God. Yes.
of my events. So, don't discount people like, oh, I don't know if I should do an event with this group because they don't really tip the DJ. I have a hard time. They don't tip the venue, but they donate the most. This is their favorite event. They can't wait. They're like, oh, it's Jail and Bail weekend. Oh, okay. I got it. I'm saving up my lindens. I'm going to be there. And this year they raised over 118,000 lindens.
Yes.
This year. So, don't discount people as don't discount people that you may not normally think of as donors, ask everybody for money. Or don't ask them, just put them in a place where there's fun to be had and donations to be made.
Exactly. All right, you guys are answering all the questions that we had anticipated without us even asking them. You guys are so on top of things. But we do have a few that we might like for you to tell us a little bit about. Have any of you encouraged other RFL teams to join with you in events? And let us know how that worked for you.
Oh, I was just talking to Bob about doing a golf tournament. So last year, I was in one of the relay rap sessions, and we were talking about collaborating, and I met a bunch of other team captains that year, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna attention on Cancer, I'm gonna talk to you later. Hey Bob, I'm gonna reach out to you later. Hey so and so, I'm gonna reach out to you later. And those events turned out to be a lot of fun. And not only are they fun, but it helps you grow your network of people who, number one, have the same goals as you as far as fundraising, but they become actual friends. They teach you more things. Uh, I
Support
the
network.
the collaborations with other people to me is very, very, very strongly recommended, whether it's a huge um a team or a smaller team. It really doesn't matter the size of the team. It's just, I think it it excites me to get other people who share your same vision to do something together. Those are the funnest events. I mean, that's why Gaia and I made our team together, because we were having a conversation about building a team, and I don't know how else to say this, but we come from different parts of SL. So
Exactly.
the people she has at her club are not the people that I have at my sim, on a regular basis. So we're like, okay, look, we're like on two sides of the track. Guy and I go way back, and I love her to death. So I said, you know what, let's merge our peoples together. Just
Exactly.
get them all
Exactly.
together, get them all exercised, excited. Um, um,
Same, same.
yeah, yeah, same.
That's a
But
good
yeah,
idea, though. That's a
it
great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
because I don't have the same people showing up at my club that she has going to her sim. We don't, we're from opposite sides of the grid, quote unquote. And
Right.
mhm,
so we managed to bring all those people together for a purpose. And now those people are, it's like a networking thing, but now they have more friends and now they're more well-rounded for knowing different people and for doing different activities. So it not only helps with Relay for Life, but it helps with SL as a whole to
Right.
involve different people
right.
in
And
what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yes, it
and when different
encourages
people
diversity in your
Right.
your group of
Diversity.
Exactly.
friends.
when
That's
different
right.
people are involved that aren't usually involved in Relay for Life, they've got friends lists of their own. And if they're having a good time at events, they're going to tell their friends, guess what I did? It was so much fun. Come with
Right.
me.
Hello.
That
That's
word
right.
of mouth is one of the best ways of reaching out.
It
If you
is.
get some ideas for some really good events that are just going to be fun, forget about the whole thing. I mean, this is the only time I'm going to recommend you forget the focus, forget the fundraising. You are going to put together something that is fun and lots of people can be involved, and we don't care where you come from. Maybe there's a dress code, maybe there's not a dress code, or maybe there's a thing that you have to participate in, like you have to like a jousting thing or something. And so maybe it costs you 20 lindens to get the jousting thing on a horse. Okay, well, that's your donation. But you know what you're doing? You are introducing people to something that they probably would have never thought to do, and they're having a lot of fun. And
Right.
that's when they tell people going, oh my goodness, I hope they do this again next year because this was fantastically fun. And they take pictures and they post it on their Discords or they post it in their group chats, and other people start knowing and going, oh my goodness, that was fun. And that's the only time I will say, let's just put aside the kiosks, the donations, and everything else. We are just dealing with gathering people to come because you'll get the donations. They're having fun. And as long as somebody's there to sort of remind that if you're having fun, throw a few shekels into the kiosk there, they will. I mean, generally they will. But you've built sort of I'm not going to, well, I can't say a brand, but you've built sort of a momentum,
Right.
if you will. And that gathers more people. And then you will start meeting the people that go, oh, I never knew about RFL. Okay,
Right.
well, here we are. And we do a lot of fun things. I don't know any team yet. I have yet to see any team, big, small, doesn't matter, that hasn't done at least one event that I have just had a hoot at. I mean, seriously, everybody does something fun.
You mentioned that, and where I mentioned like the burnout, for 2 years, Team OD wanted to participate, but we didn't officially register as a team. In 2014, we had hit our burnout point. So what we did instead, like the Shred Fest and other events we did, every month we picked a different team to sponsor. So and Relay for Life was cool. They said, here, they gave us some places to build, so they gave us corners, so we could still participate in the walk. But we were not an officially registered team for 2 years. We sponsored like the cheerleaders squad and other people like the Sanctuary Rockers, and we just picked a team every month and said, all right, this month we'll raise money for you. So you don't even have to be a team.
That's great. And there's also okay things where various teams open up their parties or their dances or whatever they're doing, and every team is allowed to put out their kiosk. And believe it or not, even if there's 10 kiosks, somebody only has 100 lindens, they give 10 to each. I mean, everybody something.
Right.
Yeah.
Going on.
I have started collaborating with other Relay for Life team. Like I'm doing something for Fantasy Fair, and I'm doing something for the Coast Guard. I find that works good for me also to find out what other teams are doing and say, hey, I'll offer my help or whatever, or I'll do this and that for you. I've done that.
All right. You guys are, that's okay. Go ahead, Abby.
The fun thing about Relay and about collaborating, and we do a lot of collaborating. We've done it with Nani, and we've done it with campers, and we've got a couple of other teams that we do it with. Is those kiosks can be set for both teams, and I love hanging out with other relayers because you guys are my people. This is my tribe. This is, we all want to do the same thing. It is one team, one dream. We all have the ultimate goal of putting a stop to cancer, and so we are always on board with like teaming up with other teams. We do huge events with campers every year, and we've done some like she was saying with the golf thing, and it's always a good idea to get to know your community.
That. I really want to do the golf.
Ooh, last year was my first time. It's fun.
It is so much fun.
All right, Ellie, you were going to say something?
I was just going to share about how, and Abby brought it up about how we can set, like, for example, the club challenge and going out to the different clubs that do have teams, and some, don't have teams, but, just going out there and, either, having the club challenge and sharing, whether they want to split the kiosk or not, and giving them that option, but letting them, have a little fun challenge, together with other clubs, and getting even their club name out there, so that helps promote their club, and just a little fun competition as well. out there.
Yeah, like
That's all I was gonna
literally
say.
everyone wins in that situation. Right? There is no
Exactly.
losers in that situation. We raise awareness, we raise funds, we bring more traffic to other people's sims. Like I don't see a downside in the team challenge, which I think was really exciting when I saw it in the Discord group, in the Discord server, that people started, sharing that, hey, I have this sim. If you want to have an event, if you don't have a space, by all means, let me know. We will try to accommodate you as much as we can. I have a beach, I have a city. Gaia has an amusement park. Some people have open spaces. There's so many places out there for people to have events, and it really isn't about, you know, how much fundraising can my team get, right? It's if you have an idea for an event and you need a space for it, I don't care if you put my team's name
On
on
your
your
Right.
kiosk.
kiosk.
Exactly.
We don't
Right.
care about that.
Exactly.
We're
Right,
still contributing, and we know
Right.
right,
it.
Right.
I've seen it in the main Discord channel about possibly getting together, and we captains sitting here, we need to actually do this, I think, because we all have some spaces that we are more than willing to let people have their events on. So we need to have a little sort of show and tell of here's my region, and I have this much. Now what I did, I put out in the Axe channel is these are the places in that Axe has available. These are how many prims you can get, and blah blah blah. So it gives a little bit more information, and I think that would be good for us to do, so that some of these teams can say, "Oh, great! Can I get your space?" And it's free. We don't charge.
Right.
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 That's a good idea.
That's a
So
good. That's a very good idea.
y'all have brought up a lot of great ideas, and I personally could sit here all day and talk to you
Clearly,
and
we
listen
can
to you
too.
guys and listen to you guys. I've been told many times that I talk too much, but this time I have sat back and listened, and I've learned a lot.
So good.
Um, so there's, y'all have touched on registration and how to get your team involved and how you get them to do an event to bring them in and make them feel a true part of your team. And you've gone through all of this stuff and how what works as an event and what doesn't work as an event. But what I want to know now, real quick, and we're going to do this quick because we've been doing this almost an hour. But but when you're a captain, there is something that you feel as you go through doing this, whether it be on the relay weekend or even as you're just planning events. What I want to know, and I would like to know from each one of you briefly, how has being a captain of Relay for Life affected you? How has it changed you?
I feel a great sense of pride because I was given captainship. This is my second year of captainship, and I was basically handed an amazing group of people who are super creative. And I feel honored to be in a position where I hear even more of their ideas and get introduced to even more of the people they know that want to come into RFL, and also help establish some guides and help as however you need me to help, I will help you. And this it's just been an honor for me, and it actually in some personal way makes me feel like I'm even more contributing than I ever did through all of my experience in RFL since 2008.
Yeah. It brought me out of my shell. I keep to myself in SL because I'm allergic to drama. and SL has a
We
tendency.
know, Gaia. We know.
I'm
Drama
allergic to
and
Oh
drama.
my
SL,
God,
really?
Gaia, I have to give you this thing I have. It's called No Drama Spray. It works. You just
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have it all around my sim. So yeah, I have a whole I actually have citronella type candles with no drama spray set up all
Oh,
over my
that's
sim.
good.
get burning
And I
sage.
and I lock myself to my sim and I only go out for, my club nights and all of that. But
Oh, I love
with
it.
Relay for Life, I've had to talk to people, I've had to make friends, I've had to interact with people I don't know, which is like the hardest thing in the world for me. I, I,
Hmm.
I'm extremely shy, and I overcome it by, I try to overcome it by being loud and obnoxious when I'm around other people. So, nobody knows I'm as shy as I am, but it is really hard. It took a whole anxiety pill for me to get here today. So,
Oh,
um,
honey, we love our
but
Xanax. We
but
love it.
yeah, Xanax is my best friend. They,
Uh-uh.
but I'm here. I'm
Yes.
here because this is important and it's bigger than me and my anxiety and anything else that I have going with me. And being a captain, I couldn't sit in the background and just go with the flow. I couldn't just say, yeah, whatever happens, happens. I had to actually put in an effort. And that has been the biggest help to me in being a captain.
Yeah. I think
Awesome.
Yeah.
being a co-captain with Gaia, I think we both are learning a lot of things. I think one of the things it's changed for me is it reminds me of the humanity in people, right? Because in the world right now, it's so crazy.
Yes.
I live in a place where when someone accidentally shoots himself in the foot, it's front page. It used to be front page news for a week because that wasn't something that happened. But nowadays, how society is nowadays, you know, there was like somebody who got murdered and cemented in their bathtub, and that was on the news
Oh
for
dear.
it wasn't even on the featured news story.
Wait,
And that's just how the world changed. It's in Hawaii, yet people are crazy there too. Um, but the,
cemented in their bathtub? Wait, hold on.
yes,
Really,
yes,
really.
yes, yeah, yes.
We need to
But
talk about that.
Well, we need
but
to have a little discussion here.
well, but so going back though, like what I see whenever these events come around is people coming back together and
Yeah.
having a shared vision of what we're doing, having fun, people helping people, which is something that is not glamorized in news today, right? What's glamorized in news today is the bad stuff,
The
right?
divisiveness.
Yes, this is the complete opposite of that. You will see people from across the grid, all different. They look different, they act different, they come from different places, and they'll come to your event and have fun together. And that is what it does for me. Is I, Gaia knows I am Miss Aloha. I just love being around people. You know, so
That's me.
yes, so it's like it makes SL exciting for me. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
If
when
I
I
may
be,
say,
oh,
if if I may go next, I would say some of the things that people said. I hear very deeply what you're saying, and I would just add to the fact that as team captains, whether this is your first time around or your 15th time around, you're a community leader. And what that means, it's an honor and a privilege to serve all these people that are coming in and saying, I want to make a difference. And the thing about that is, because like when I run a big event like Shredfest, right? So I'm literally online for 3 solid days. And so I'm hearing in private chats all these people that saying, and I don't say this to glorify myself, but to glorify the overall team effort, that they're saying, thank you for doing this because this is how it impacted my life. And you hear many, many of these stories as you do this over the years. And that helps deepen your commitment and the fact that somebody has to step up and take the lead. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. Because last year, or was it the year before, we do the annual Royal Ascot. And I was actually interviewed at Designing Worlds about, the Axe Build at Relay and then about some of Ascot. And I literally, and I'm still going to cry, but there was a lady who was actually dying of cancer. And she was in her hospital bed, and she couldn't wait for Ascot because she could dress up in the beautiful dress and the hat. And she bought a Royal Box ticket. Her last thing she did, which is the most expensive part of the Ascot sim, because we put different points of raising money. And she bought herself a Royal Box ticket, and she died 5 days later. But she had the best time. And that made me know that event touches people. I mean, it gave her this opportunity to be out of her hospital bed and in this world where she was she was young, and she had a beautiful hat, and she had a gorgeous dress, and she watched the races, and she was free of all of that. And I felt so honored when she sent me that email. It's not her, it was actually her niece. But I mean, it still moves me to tears. And that's what you can do when you do some of these events. You never know how it's going to affect somebody. But if you do something that's like super fun, believe it or not, there might be somebody who's having fun at your event who's in a hospital bed who can't walk, and they're dancing. And that makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It does. And I'm sorry, I have to wipe these tears away.
Absolutely.
No, you're fine. The relay, yeah. Well, just walking on the relay track, right? If you can walk around the track without looking at everything and then without feeling emotional at some point, you are not human. It's just like it is impossible to walk the track.
Yeah. When you walked on that track last year, you saw some great fields, and you got, oh my God.
Yeah, and then you get to read the stories. It's crazy.
Every year I say, okay, I am going to walk around this track 50 times. And I barely make it 9 because I have to stop at everything.
Yes.
Like, okay, this time I'm going to stop at the Alice in Wonderland exhibit. Okay, this time around I'm going to stop here.
I stop at everything too.
Right.
Last year I said I'm going to get out of that turtle trophy. Yep. I'm going to get me a rabbit trophy. And last year I was going for broke, and then I only made it 8.7 something laps, and I was like, no.
Right.
So my goal is
you
this
look
year.
at everything.
I do, yeah. I'm going to make those 9 laps this year. I'm going to get me a rabbit.
Nanny, this is going to be my 12th relay. I have never gotten out of the turtle.
Really? Oh my God, I feel so much better about myself.
All right, guys. So Mightbe, were you going to say something about how relay has affected you?
Oh my goodness, how hasn't it affected me? First of all, I'm former military, and I'm, as a president, I'm used to telling people what to do, and I have learned so much patience and how to encourage people as being a captain than I ever did anywhere else. And then just watching the compassion in people has been amazing. It brings such a light to yourself when you see how much you can impact other people, and when you hear somebody say, like you were talking about the Ascot, a few years ago we raced rubber ducks, and it was just fun. It was silly, and it wasn't what we had planned to do. We had planned to do something totally different, and these people had crashed our sim, and we said, we're not going to let this stop us. And they turned off scripts. So what we did is gave everybody, instead of something that you resin ride. We gave everybody these rubber ducks that you wore, and we had the races anyway. And one
Oh.
of the ladies came up to me after the race, and she said, "Thank you so much. My daughter has cancer. She's in a hospital bed, and watching those ducks, she laughed the whole time." And it does.
That's
It makes
awesome.
such a difference
I'm telling you,
that you don't expect.
Right.
these
Well,
things
El-
actually affect people. They
they
do.
do. They do. Ellie?
Yeah, I think I just every year I get excited to do this. I mean, everybody that knows me in real life knows I do this. And I just get reminded every year that, we really are all one team. And I live in an area here as well that we went through some real struggles in our real life community. And RFL just, reminds me all the time that, there's great honor and pride in what we do. And that we really do make a difference with people, no matter how small, like the rubber ducks that you talked about or anything. There's just a great sense of pride and joy in every little thing we do, whether it's decorating an egg or trying to get a little robot up a hill that never will get there. There's just, that joy and that pride. It's not about, the badge that we get or anything. It's just that community that we all have and that new person that we hear. And, it's the stories that we're told and knowing that just listening sometimes and being that shoulder for the caregiver and the support that we offer. It really just makes a difference.
Abby,
Mm-hmm.
what about you?
Being able to do something good in what most people consider an imaginary world, most people come to Second Life looking for something they're missing in real life. And I can honestly tell you, just come into Second Life, and I was here for a long time before I found out what I was looking for, and it was relay. Um, so it kind of gives me a purpose for being here, other than just spending money on clothes and animating my avatar to DJs. I just I just am relay. This is all I do now, and it's brought me a lot of happiness. It's brought me. I lost an aunt and uncle a year and a half ago, right after relay season. 9 days apart, they both died of cancer, and I had my relay family. I had not just Bob, but all of my relay family, and it it didn't make it okay. It's not okay to lose them, but it gave me a little backbone. It gave me a little hope that that there are people out there trying to do something better and make it work, and give us that hope that one day this will not be something that someone else has to go through.
I always remember there was an episode of Star Trek Next Generation, and there was the doctor in the sick bay, and they had some alien person that had come into sick bay, and the doctor does the scan and said, "Oh well, it had this and that wrong," and then, "Oh, we found a little cancer here. I zapped that." Oh my God, that's what I want. Where you go into a doctor and they look at you and they're like, "Well, your blood pressure's a little off, your cholesterol. Oh, look, there's a little cancer. Let's zap that." Oh, thank you. Wouldn't that be amazing?
That would be amazing.
We're just gonna zap that, like Star Trek. Okay.
We working on that.
One day. One day.
All right,
Hopefully
guys.
sooner than later.
All right, guys. Our very last question, and I want this to be very short. Okay, I want you to think about it. I know it's like telling me to hush, but anyway,
That's quite a request of this crowd.
I know. But if you can say one short thing to a new incoming team, RFL team, what would those words of encouragement be?
You don't have to do it alone.
Mm,
Don't give up.
Your efforts are appreciated.
absolutely. Everything you do counts.
There is no such thing as a failure. It's just a learning event, and you'll just make it better next year.
It doesn't even have to be next year. It could be your next event.
Exactly.
Yes.
I like
Every-
that though.
Yeah.
Yes,
No,
and don't be afraid.
Don't lose focus. Don't lose
Yes.
focus on what the goal is.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to reach out to other people, other
Yeah.
teams, other, friends, people that you don't think might be interested. Just the worst thing that they can say is no.
Thank you all so much for coming to share your experience with all of the other teams. Jim and I learn from you guys every day, and you always humble us. You all have an abundance of knowledge that is essential to share for all the relayers. Your experience is part of the strength of our relay. For all that are listening to this video, we hope that this experience of these captains help you plan your relay events as well as inspire you. If at any time you have questions, reach out to other captains. And of course, Jim and Selene are always an I am away. Happy relaying.